Topping today's news, the murder count climbs a notch. The Prime Minister gets ready to host regional leaders, Jamaicans growing acres of marijuana on Andros, and the Attorney General talks about tackling the backlog in court cases. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jareno Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News. Thanks for joining us. Police are determined to keep the murder count below 100 for the year, but over the weekend the country suffered another murder when two men were gunned down here in the capital late Friday night in a double shooting incident in the Soldier Road area near Sugar Kid Bow Bar. That incident pushing the country's murder count up one notch as one of the victims, a 26-year-old male of South Beach, according to police reports, succumbed to his injuries on the scene. Officer in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department, Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson, says both males, the other also believed to be in his early 20s, were outside of a store off Soldier Road when they were approached by a gunman who shot them multiple times.
Sometime shortly after 10 p.m. tonight, through an unnamed road off Soldier Road, two males were standing in the street when they were approached by a lone gunman who opened fire on them, shooting them multiple times about the body. One male was deceased on scene, the other male was taken to hospital by private vehicle. His condition at this time is unknown. The gunman left this area on foot and he jumped into a dark, small vehicle which we believe is a Japanese model.
The second victim, according to police reports, is currently in hospital in critical condition. Investigations into this matter continue. There was also another murder on Saturday morning, bringing the homicide count up to 87, when shortly after 10 a.m., police were called to a residence in the area of Kenilworth Avenue, where a man thought to be in his early 50s was found deceased lying on a porch. Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson of the Criminal Investigation Department spoke further on the fatal incident.
Our information is that shortly after 10 a.m., the deceased was at a residence conversing with several other family members when the occupants of a small gray vehicle, which we believe is a Japanese model, pulled up. Two males exited this vehicle. Both were armed with handguns, and they opened fire on the victim, fatally wounding him. The occupants then got back into this vehicle and made good their escape.
When asked if this most recent murder is in any way connected with the shooting that happened roughly 12 hours prior, Chief Superintendent Johnson said it is too early into their investigation to confirm this, but said it is a line of inquiry they will be looking at. Chief Superintendent Johnson described the area where the murder occurred as a quiet area that is very rare for incidents like this to happen there. Chief Superintendent Johnson further revealed the victim was conversating with family members on the porch of the residence before the shooting took place, which according to police did not result in anyone else being hurt other than the deceased victim. Police are appealing to residents of Kenilworth Avenue and the local community to contact their nearest police station or the Criminal Investigation Department if you have any further information that can assist them in their investigations. In other crime news, police also investigating an early morning shooting incident that leaves a male in hospital and police on the hunt for two gunmen. According to police reports, shortly before 2 a.m. on Saturday, a male was on Roberts Drive in southern New Providence when he was approached by two males armed with firearms who shot him before fleeing the area. The victim was taken to hospital in a private vehicle where his condition up to news time is still unknown. Police are appealing to members of the public who may have any information that can assist in apprehending the alleged suspects to contact them at the Criminal Investigation Department. One of the main reasons for murder suspects qualifying for bail is because oftentimes their trial takes months, if not years, before they are called before the courts. The newly appointed Chief Justice Ian Winder said one of his main goals is to put a serious dent in the backlog of cases, which has been a challenge for the judiciary for many years. Attorney General Ryan Pinder says work in addressing the backlog has already begun. Mr. Pinder says he will seek to ask Chief Justice Winder to improve other aspects of the judiciary that are lending to the issue of the backlog of cases. A 30-year-old man of Imperial Park lost his life on Saturday night in a tragic traffic fatality. Police are now investigating that accident that occurred sometime around 8:40 p.m. Police received reports of a single-car collision in the area of Golf Course Boulevard off of Charles Saunders Highway. When officers arrived on the scene, they found a white 2008 Ford Explorer with a lone occupant who lost control of the vehicle, collided with a wall, and then into a utility pole. Here's Chief Superintendent David Lockhart, officer in charge of the Police Road Traffic Department.
Good night. The police control room received a call about 8:30 tonight of a single vehicle crash on Golf Course Boulevard. EMS and police was dispatched. On arrival, the police found a single vehicle off in the center of the median of Golf Course Boulevard. At the time, it was occupied by a single male that was trapped in the vehicle that had to be extricated with the use of jaws of life from the fire department. As a result of the collision, the single driver received serious injuries and was transported to the accident and emergency section. What I can confirm now, it has been confirmed that he is deceased. We will still be waiting proper identification once next of kin have been notified.
Your name and title, please.
Chief Superintendent David Lockhart, the officer in charge of the Traffic Division.
As investigations into this latest traffic fatality is still early, Chief Superintendent Lockhart was unable to provide the identity of the deceased male as police wait proper identification by next of kin. According to Chief Superintendent Lockhart, officers have not yet concluded whether speed was a factor or as to what may have contributed to the fatal incident. He's appealing to anyone who may have been in the area during the time of the accident and witnessed the accident to contact the Police Traffic Department at 397-8057, 397-8057. And finally, in this segment, with thousands of new drivers coming on the streets and new university freshmen entering the party scene, police say they are concerned with not being able to arrest individuals who are caught driving under the influence. Chief Superintendent David Lockhart, who is in charge of the Road Traffic Department, says the Road Traffic Act was amended in 2016, but the change was never gazetted. Mr. Lockhart says he is in the process of trying to get the law gazetted this year, which will allow officers to carry out arrests on those driving under the influence of alcohol and equip officers with breathalyzer tests to use when they suspect drunk drivers. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.